Hi guys, it's 10 a.m. Hello, Pacific Standard Time. I'm just getting going. I'm in a new room and hopefully it's a little better with lighting and sound. I'm not really sure. There we go, brighten it up. I started this morning with Kelly Kettle, my social media guru, and we wanted to try something different. I told you guys I would just go live sometime over the weekend just to see what response we get and if I can reach different people, different audiences, or just keep you guys motivated with my little inspirational talks and things. So I am downstairs now, which means there could be a doggy sighting or a husband walking in and garage doors opening and all kinds of noise at my house. So let's see what happens. So I'm Gina Tabrizy. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and you guys have been sending me some really intense and real questions through Messenger. And that is the best way to get a hold of me. I'm not trying to see clients. I have clients in my private practice. I do counseling still. I mostly teach and mentor and do public speaking and whatnot, but I do have some clients and I supervise over at both of my businesses. So Harmony Heals Counseling Center and Harmony Heals Detox and Rehab. And those are located in sunny Southern California, and it is sunny right now. So in this downstairs room, I have all kinds of windows over here, and you can see it's much brighter than the room that I usually sit in. And which is great. We're very spoiled here. When it gets 60 degrees, we think it's cold. I do. I start to freeze up, and I realize I could never live in New York, where my adopted daughter has gone. And I hope she's watching. I think it's her day off, so I hope she's sleeping because that girl never sleeps. She's like 24/7 on the go. But I've been thinking about what to talk about today. Hey, whoever's watching, check in, tell me, hey, who you are. If you're someone who's watched my lives before, then welcome back. And if you haven't, Gina Tabrizy, I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I've been in the field for 32 years now, since I was in diapers. I actually thought about it this morning. My mom came over and she's trying to figure out social media now so she can start watching these, which is fantastic. She's 82 years old, and I think that's amazing. And it's also terrifying because sometimes I call her out on my lives about things that I've gone through in my childhood or things that I've learned from my past. And that's why I started these lives. I started it because my clients pushed me and encouraged me to speak out and to share my experience, my strength, my hope, and my knowledge with more people, that I could reach more people and maybe inspire them to get the help that they need. So I work a lot with addicts, alcoholics, and trauma is my area of expertise. So I talk a lot about those topics, but those aren't the only things. There's a lot of stuff I put out here about relationships, and I have a little experience in that personally, as far as professionally. In my second marriage now, heading on our 25th year of marriage and 30 years together. So that's pretty good. I think that's awesome. And my parents' mom, if she's watching this, today would have been their anniversary. And Mom, you know, I never keep track, so I think it would have been like your 54th, maybe higher. But we threw them a blowout party on their 50th, and so that one really stands out in my mind. So I guess what I was going to do today is just check in with you, tell you a little bit about what the lives are for. It's mostly to inspire, guide, and help people to get help. It's not necessarily that I'm going to be the key for your help, but maybe I'm the key to inspiring you to finally getting the help that you need. And I was thinking about relationships a lot this morning. I guess with the whole Valentine's thing, it makes you kind of focus on where you're at in your relationships, and not just, I guess not just love interests, but friendships and all kinds of relationships. And I was thinking about how easily we discard and throw people away. And I thought about that through my own life and felt like so many times in my life, people just walked away for different reasons. A lot of times they never told me why they left, but they just walked out of my life. And when you're the person being left, you're left with so many questions. Sometimes you're the one doing the leaving because you're in trouble, because you've been in a relationship that's abusive or frightening, controlling, angry. Maybe there's cheating, lying, stealing, thieving. Maybe there's addiction, and you've just hit a wall of your tolerance with it. So I guess it's to understand why we stay and why we go. But I just kept thinking about how we treasure things sometimes more than we treasure people. Like, people will get heartbroken over losing, a precious ring. Or one time I sobbed for days because our family videos got accidentally thrown out into the trash. And then I thought, why am I crying? I mean, hysterically crying over losing these videos, because the people in those videos are still in my life. They're still with me. Hey, Vincent, I'm glad you're watching. Tell me where you're from too. So I feel like this thing kind of represented those people and those relationships for me. And it was like, I have to let this go. It isn't okay to treasure the video and not treasure the people. It isn't okay to treasure your ring, your wedding ring, and not treasure your marriage or your friendships. And sometimes we leave people because we're judgmental. We decide that they're not the perfect person, or they haven't met all our needs, or maybe you got butthurt. Maybe you were at a party and your friend was busy hosting the party and she didn't pay a lot of attention to you. Maybe she said hello when you walked in, but then attended to all her guests. And then you felt leaving like, gosh, I don't know why I was even here. She didn't even notice me. Well, you went into that party with an expectation that your friend was going to focus just on you. And sometimes it's not the friend hosting the party. Maybe you and your loved ones, cousins, sisters, brothers, in-laws, whatever, you all are going to an event together. And maybe you want to spread the love and you want to talk to different people. And maybe you see your cousin all the time, or you see your mom all the time. And so you don't pay as much attention to them. So thanks for watching, Kelly. So I guess in that instance, when you're focusing on who you want to focus on, hi, Fred Getchell. Hey, Fred, you're back. It's so good to see you. So when you're focusing on someone at a party or an event, or you're with family members, don't sometimes you just wish you could talk to everybody and spend a little time with everybody? But life is not like that. We don't have all the energy in the world to give to everyone. So we kind of have to divide our time up equally. And sometimes I've done that. I've been at a party and I've decided hey, I always hang around with Susie and Patty and Jen or Mike, but I've hardly ever talked to Lauren. I want to go talk to Lauren, my cousin Lauren, if she's watching. So I move myself in that direction. And maybe by doing that, my friend or my cousin who I'm not paying attention to gets butthurt and tells me later, you didn't even say hi to me, or you ignored me, or whatever. My God, why do we always attribute other people's behavior? We analyze and attribute judgment and criticism to it. Why don't we think, oh, she's just having a good time over there. That's nice. And why aren't we more assertive and saying, well, I want to spend time with her, so why don't I walk over there and hang out with her? Are you relating to this at all, about what happens with people in your lives that get hurt, or they resent, or they criticize you, or hold judgment towards you without even checking out if your reality and their reality match? Well, it's happened to me a lot. So people will leave. They don't tell me why. There's a jealousy, envy, anger, resentment, hurt. They hold on to it for years. They never tell me, and then they just disappear out of my life. And it happened over and over again. Thank you, Callie, right? Isn't it so true? So I'm like, why are you mad at me? I didn't realize you felt I was ignoring you because you never told me. I didn't realize you felt like I wasn't sharing my love with you, or being authentic, or being kind, because you didn't tell me. I just showed up and I was doing the best that I could with what I had. And now you're carrying this huge resentment, and then you just excommunicate me from your life. How do we deal with that? How do we get over that? I want to hear from you guys, and I'll tell you my own truths about that. Leonie, is it not good to give a message and call always to loved ones? It's always good to speak the truth. It's always good to talk to the people that you care about and treasure. I started this talk this morning without a topic, just thinking about how we throw away, we hang on to things that we treasure, objects, and we throw people away. And I'm thinking we have a part in that. Like when people walk out of my life, I got to look at what was my part in that. Maybe I wasn't present. Maybe I didn't show up 100%. Maybe I wasn't kind. Maybe I forgot their birthday every year. Maybe I was selfish and self-centered, as we all are in some ways. But beyond that is, can't you forgive people? Like, why is that so hard? I should do the whole topic, the live this Thursday. I always go live on Thursdays at 6 p.m. I should do it on forgiveness because it seems the most impossible thing. We're so judgmental and so critical of each other. And when we don't treasure the people around us, they do go away. But I want to tell you too, sometimes you need to leave. Sometimes you need to be the person that doesn't stay in a relationship where you're not treasured and not wanted. This morning I was messengering, so that's one way that I'll talk and communicate with you. And I'm only doing this as a public service. I'm not trying to be your therapist right now. We don't have an agreement, a contract. We didn't sign any paperwork. If you like it, listen to it. This is public. This is live. If you don't like it, turn it off. If I'm not your cup of tea or your flavor or you don't like what I'm saying, turn me off. Move on, right? But the judgment and the criticism to me is how we lose the ability to treasure and love people is we start criticizing them. Callie's saying, my friends, I'm too much going on in life they couldn't handle. You know, I hate that expression, you're too much. Like, I totally empathize with you, Callie. Look at this. I'm like a redheaded fireball. I'm like super passionate. I get really loud. My hands are going. That's the Latin girl in me. But at the same time, I've heard that throughout my life. You're too much. And I'm thinking, why am I too much? You know, if we're divinely created, how come I'm too much? I was given that amount of juice because that's the way I was intended to be created. And that's the purpose and soul that is supposed to exist on this earth is a little too much. Maybe some people are a little too little, not a little too much. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to be too much. And when you have problems, like I was speaking to someone last night, and I hope she'll hear and listen to this live. Everything in her life right now seems to be going on a downward spiral. And what I said to her is humble yourself enough to ask for help. And if your friends say you're too much and they can't handle your issues, it's because they're frightened. Your issues frighten them. What you're dealing with, they don't know how to deal with. They don't know how to give you solution. They don't know how to guide you, and it scares them. And maybe they're in a place where they don't understand your depression, or they don't understand how you're in an abusive relationship, or they don't understand how to help you with your kids who are going off the rails and starting to use drugs. So that's a place where you go, I need to go see a counselor because my friends can't help me with this. But also you should have friends that can at least hear it and listen to it. Are you surrounded by people that are only around you in your good? And when you're in your sorrow and your hurt and your wounding, they disappear and they don't have the time of day, then those friends' love is limited. It's a conditional love. It's not an unconditional love. Tell me what you think about this if you're watching. Leonie, I always give time to my loved ones even I'm busy. Is it too much? No. I love that you do that. I love that you stay connected with people when you're busy. You know, some of the things that happens with me and my friends is always like, when I reach out to them, they're like, oh my God, I just assume you're so busy that I don't want to bother you or that you wouldn't have time to get together for lunch. And I'm like, hi, Jackie, I'm so glad you're watching. I was kind of just talking to you like a minute ago. So I was sharing some more experience about how people need to humble themselves and ask for help. But sometimes my friends will tell me that I think you're too busy, so I just assumed you were busy. Don't assume nothing about anybody. Do you guys know that expression? Assuming makes an ass out of you and me. Spell it. Oops, can I say that on Facebook Live? Are the Facebook gods watching me right now? Sorry. That's part of my nature. ASSUME. It makes an ass out of you and me. When you assume things about people, you're not checking out their reality. I have been hit up by people who said, I felt like you were ignoring me, or you've always been rude to me, or I feel like you looked down at me. They never checked out with me. Was that my reality, or that's just how they felt around me? When you assume things about the people that you love, thank you for laughing, Callie. When you assume things about the people you love, you're putting a wedge between them. Maybe you have the issue. Maybe you have a jealousy with your friend that you're judging and criticizing how she's living her life. Or maybe you're terrified for your friend because you can see that she's gone off the rails. She's in an abusive relationship, or she's abusive to her kids, or maybe he is a drunk, or maybe she's running around like a teenager and she's in midlife crisis with kids that are running amok. Like, do you relate to any of these situations? You probably have friends like that. And Callie's saying that's why I'm too much. I don't think you're too much, Callie. I think you're just enough. I think we are all just enough. We are divinely created, and we're meant to be different. We're not meant to all be the same and look at the world in the same way, in the same lens. That would be ridiculous. I am so glad you laugh a lot, Callie, because that is the healthiest medicine that you could ever have, is just to laugh and laugh at yourself. Like, I do that all the time. Sometimes I think I'm absolutely ridiculous. I'm super like hyper. I'm sure I'm ADHD. And there's a lot of things I do. I was thinking about this morning. So my topic here is pretty much treasure people. Treasure people in your life, not things or obsessions. We're now in a culture that's obsessed with things, and in many ways discounting people and the value of people in our lives. So I've been talking about, on a personal level, in your relationships and in my relationships, how I've been discarded, or maybe how I've discarded other people. And if you take anything from this, I want you to take what I said. Don't assume what other people are thinking or feeling. Check it out before you dismiss them, before you judge them, before you criticize them, and excommunicate them from your life. I've had people who have intentionally kept themselves away from me, or guarded, or intentionally, kept their loved ones away from me because they had resentment towards me that they never talked about. Like, how is that my fault? I can't fix that for you. And bottom line is, maybe you just don't like me, and get clear in your head. You don't like me because you just don't. Not because I'm a bad person or because I did something to you, I've wronged you. Maybe you've had to make up all these stories about me so that you could push away because you just don't like me. That's all right. I'm using myself as an example, but put yourself in my shoes. If you're the person that other people don't like, that's all right. They don't know you. And if they're judging you, they're not meant to be in your life. Do you get that? Jackie, I am sad, but always very happy all the time. Yes, Jackie, and you have a great sense of humor too. Leonie, because they tell me why I always call them. Is that not good? Callie, correct. Okay. So friends are meant to be called upon, and friends are meant to be your supporter. Maybe you have to split it up amongst your friends. Like, I kind of spread the love. When I think I'm like feeling like I've got a lot and I've got a heavy burden, I might talk to 2 or 3 different friends. I don't want to burn out one friend with all of my stuff. But at the same time, if you're my friend, you should have an open heart and be able to hear me. And if I'm too heavy, or I'm a burden, or I'm bringing you down, then tell me that too. And tell me like, hey, I think you need professional help because I can't help you in this area. Or I think you need a support group. Like, I went through my cancer 2 years ago, and I solely relied on my friends. Like, it's one of the times in my life I didn't even go to therapy. I didn't feel like I needed it because the people in my life showed up. They might not be here right now, and they're not with me every day, and I don't see them all the time. But you need to know that the people in your life will show up when you need it the most. That's the value of friendship, right? And you should treasure that. And sometimes when your friend does something ridiculous, like, I don't know, this happens to me sometimes. Maybe you feel slighted by your friends, like they hang out more together than they hang out with you. Don't personalize that. There's a reason for that too. And if it's because you're intense, or if it's because you're a fireball, or if it's because you're the life of the party, or whatever it is, and they just can't hang with that or deal with it, or they don't want to compete with that, that's all right. Don't make yourself smaller to fit in other people's idea of who you're supposed to be. Are you jiving with that? Do you understand what I'm saying? People sometimes want us to be smaller than what we are, like to not take up space in the room, because maybe they don't get or understand us, or maybe they're just not at the same place that we are in life. I just lost my dad on the 20th of January. My family seems to be not supportive of me, and it really hurts. First of all, Kelly, anyone that's watching, don't you know what it's like to lose someone that you love dearly? Show Kelly some love right now. I lost my father. I can't believe it's going on 2 years this summer. I can't believe it. And you're so welcome, Leonie. And it's an irreplaceable feeling in your heart. It's not an object or a thing that you can replace. It's a precious human soul that affected your life and gave you life. You value them. You can't let that go. It does hurt really bad. So I want you to acknowledge Kelly, and I want you to share the love. That's what I do on these lives. I'm not about criticizing or judging people or putting people in boxes or telling me, well, you're this, you're whatever, religious or non-religious, or you're black or you're white or you're yellow or you're fat or you're skinny or you're whatever. I'm about, we all are human. We are all the same in our humanity and our souls. Our souls know each other. We all coming from a divine place, right? So show Kelly some love. Tell him how you've experienced loss. When I lost my dad, Kelly, it was within a week of being diagnosed of cancer. I had to stand up at my dad's funeral. I'll still get emotional about it. I had to stand up at my dad's funeral 3 weeks after hearing that I had breast cancer with 3 tumors in both breasts. And how do you come back from that? That's devastating. But I could stand up there because I treasured what he gave me. I treasured the love that he gave me and the belief that he had in me. And that is absolutely precious, because not all of us get to have good parents. And my parents were certainly not perfect. And my mom's going to watch this later because she's 82 and she's figuring out how to use social media and Facebook, and my son's going to teach her, and she's going to watch this live, and I want her to hear that. I'm not freaking perfect as a parent or as a human. I screw up all the time, but I'm willing to own that and say to people that I make mistakes, and I'm real and I'm vulnerable and I'm sorry. And earlier in this live, I started talking about forgiveness, and I promise you I am going to talk about it this Thursday night at 6 p.m. on this live, because that's the key to everything. When I stood up at my father's funeral, I forgave whoever, God, the universe, everybody, for whatever was going on with me. It was no one else's fault. This is the story of my life. This is the story of your life. Whatever comes to you, cancer, heartache, bad relationships, bad children, bad in-laws. I've had a little bit of some and all of those things in some form or another. And when those things come to you, that's your journey in life. No one got a perfect stamp onto this earth with a perfect story. No one. I don't care if they're a celebrity and they look like they have the perfect life, the perfect face, the perfect body. They had their struggles too. They might not be putting it out there on social media like I'm putting it out there right now, like you guys are putting it out there with me. But none of us comes to this life with a perfect past that says everything will always be joyous in your life. That's not life. This is real. Thank you, Jackie, for saying that I always look beautiful and more today. I brought up the story of my dad. I want you to send some love to Kelly, who's sharing about his grief with your dad. Kelly, one day at a time. I stood up at that funeral and I honored my father for every ounce of love he ever gave me and for every person he's ever loved, because he was all about the love, okay? I got sidetracked. I was telling you about that, and I hope my mom understands this and watches this and feels some joy about this, because today would have been her anniversary with my dad, and she's really sad today. And I want to say to her, what a precious gift, you know. We're talking about don't throw away people, treasure the people you have, not the objects. And being sad today is honoring and remembering what an amazing gift my father was to you. When you lose people, Kelly, you lose your dad. When you grieve and you cry every tear for every ounce of love that you felt from that man. From every beautiful memory that you have. I promise you, eventually your tears will stop. You won't cry forever. Okay, nobody's ever died from crying too many tears. Okay, sometimes I go up close so I can read your comments better. So, you know, I'm no spring chicken here, let me tell you. Let me tell you. And I've been through some things. So I would love for you, if you're really struggling and suffering in relationships with people and you feel lost in your grief, to find a counselor near you. This is what it can be like. Like, they're real people. Now, they're not all real people. So you go into a therapist's office, and if they feel too stiff or stuffy or pretentious or detached or distant from you or cold in any way, shape, or form, then maybe that's not the person for you, because it should feel like a real person sitting there with you, loving you, okay, and guiding you through your pain. So share more stories about your grief. Please send Kelly some love about his dad. Kelly, it gets easier, and you honor and remember him every single day. And the more that you remember him, the lighter that weight will feel of the loss, because you're just going to hang on to the good, okay? I also lost my mother 4 months ago. I know, it's devastating, you guys, to lose people. And that's why you got to treasure them while they're here. We think we have time to waste to blow people off. And we think it's okay to disregard people. Like, you don't know that person that you throw away. Oh, well, you know, he's been really difficult to get along with, and he wasn't there for me when I was hurting, and blah, blah, blah. And we disregard people based on our criticism of them. They might be struggling too. They might have had a hardship too, and maybe they weren't able to be there for you in the way that you wanted, but maybe you can revisit that relationship. Not all relationships are relationships you should go back to. I don't know what the nope is for, Callie. You just said nope all of a sudden, so I don't know if you're not relating to something or you're commenting to something else. So go back to people and give them an opportunity to heal by forgiving them. And don't stay with people that don't treasure you, and don't stay with people that don't want you around or treat you like you're less than. Don't ever be treated less than kind or less than nurturing, as one of my mentors always said. And be willing yourself to be vulnerable and ask for what you need. I started these lives to inspire people to get help and be helped, or through my conversation with you to inspire you so that you feel that you're getting some guidance or some love or some nurturing, because I had to do that through my life when I suffered. Don't disregard. Yeah, don't disregard people. My God, we all have value, right? We all have a purpose. There's something great and divine about all of us. We just have to figure out what that is. And it's not the same for everybody. Maybe this is my thing, you know? Since I was a little girl, I always forgive them, but they keep on ignoring me. Okay, Leonie's been commenting about this, and I want to comment to that. And what I was saying about the little girl, I'm telling you, I'm ADHD. Like, oh, there's a butterfly, there's a cat, look at that door. I'm all over the place, but I eventually get somewhere. And I try to keep the theme going. But when I was a little girl, from the time I was like 12 years old, I knew I wanted to be a therapist, a psychologist. It was my dream. And I knew that that's what I was meant to do. And I was lucky. That doesn't happen for everybody. Most of us, it takes a lifetime, and we'll change our careers 10 times in a lifetime till we find that thing that serves our purpose, okay? So that's a side note. But serving your purpose and living your purpose has everything to do with being joyous, happy, and free, and then being a better person in relationship with other people and being free to love other people. Leonie, when you forgive someone, you can also let them go. If people continually disregard you, I have just gone through this in the last 3 years in relationship with family, okay? And not my family that's watching, but just family that would probably never be watching. So It hurt so bad. I was rocked to my core. I was on my knees and I was sobbing because I felt I had tried and tried and tried to be a person of integrity, to love them, even though I had felt hurt by them over and over again, to keep forgiving them over and over again, and to keep showing up for their dislike of me. And to keep hearing how it's my fault the relationship doesn't work, or it's my fault that they're carrying resentments, or whatever it is. And they disregarded me. I mean, literally threw me away. You know, one member of the family says, I never want to talk to you again because I don't like the drama in our family. And it was related to my husband and such. And I became part of that story. And it was very, very painful. But what happened was something inside me broke. Something inside me opened up. In the deepest moment of grief, I began to truly forgive. And when I forgave, it felt like even if I never see them again, I'm okay with never seeing them again. And I have never felt that in my life about a family member or a friend. I have grieved and grieved and grieved when people leave me. And my cousin, who's not watching, but she'll go back and watch it, my cousin Myrna, hi Mimi, I love you. Her friend Jackie's, one of her best friends, Jackie, is watching, but she saw this in my life over and over again. And she kept saying, oh my God, I don't know what it is with people with you. They love you, they attach to you, they want to like own and possess you, and then they want to walk away. Well, that's a story of my life. And so I had to learn to forgive that abandonment over and over again and not take it personal. Leonie, if they don't want to be with you and they're ignoring you, they don't deserve you. You are not meant to be in their life because you have something more precious, more honorable, and more valuable to give to other people who will value it. Don't stick around people who don't treasure you. Don't do it. I don't care who it is, a family member, whatever. And you don't have to make a big stink and say, you suck, you hurt my feelings, I'm never going to speak to you again. You don't need to leave people in anger. It's honestly more noble and more gracious and more godly to leave people in love. There's a beautiful expression in Al-Anon. If you guys don't know, Al-Anon is a recovery program, the 12-step recovery, to help people who are in relationship with people who are addicts. But really in relationship with anybody who's sick, abusive, unkind, any unhealthy relationship you're in, Al-Anon could apply, and you can learn and use those principles to help yourself, okay? So let go in love. Detach with love is one of the cornerstones of Al-Anon, and that has taught me so much. It is so hard to do, but I have learned over and over again. Hanging on to people that don't love and care for me breaks me down, breaks my spirit down, causes me to feel abused and disregarded. And abuse is very subtle. It doesn't have to be somebody beating you. It could be somebody ignoring you. It could be somebody invalidating you. It could be somebody who always criticizes you or makes fun of or pokes fun at you every time that you see them. Someone who never has a kind word to say to you and just always goes, oh, wow, really? You're wearing that dress today? Wow, okay. You know, or, oh, looks like you gained weight again. Do you have that person in your life? I have people like in my life all the time who were happy to do that. Like, oh my God, you look like a bag of bones. Hi, I've been sick for a couple of years. I have hyperthyroidism that caused me to lose 15 pounds. And I feel like shit, by the way. Thanks for pointing that out. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, you don't look right. You don't look healthy. What's going on with you? That's love and kindness. The other is criticism and maybe jealousy. Maybe that person was, you know, struggling with their own weight and they decided to focus on mine. So, but to try to make me feel bad about myself because they feel bad about themselves. I love that you're laughing with me, Callie, because I swear I have a great sense of humor. Most of the time I get so intense in these things that you're seeing this serious side of me, but really, I don't think I could have gotten through a lot of crap in my life if I didn't laugh at myself and laugh at the people in my life that say shit like that to me, which is unbelievable, but they do. They just feel like they do. So send some love up to Leonie and send some love up to Kelly. I haven't heard back from Kelly, who shared about his dad, so I hope you're still watching, Kelly, and I send you my love. My bestest friend, Michelle is watching. Hi, girlfriend. This is bullshit. I only get to see you on social media. and I don't get to see you in real life. She's a busy girl. She got places to go, things to do, people to see. So since we're talking about treasuring the people in your life, not your possessions, then I could talk about my girl Michelle right here. So Michelle's one of the people in my life that has been the most consistent. I've had friendships for 20 years that I've suddenly lost. They have crashed and burned because I stood up for myself. Oh, thank you, Kelly. I'm glad it's helping. Just so much love for you and your daddy. And I'm sure when you do the things in your life that honor him, then he's still with you. So always, my mom and I like to go, what would dad do? You know, when we're struggling on how we're going to get through the day. And that's where she's at today, because it would have been their anniversary today. And she'll tell me later how many years. After 50, I stopped counting because I thought that was enough. So it's like 52, 54, 55 years. Anyways, back to my friend Michelle and this topic, which is treasure the people in your life that you love, not possessions. Possessions come and go. They get lost. They get destroyed. You have money. You don't have money. You never had money. Story of my life. But people are invaluable, so you treasure them. So one of the things I got from my friend Michelle, and I'm going to bring her on live with me one of these times, Michelle, you know that, because her and I together are pretty funny. And Callie would watch us because she'd be cracking up the whole time. I'm glad you relate to what I'm saying, Callie. And Si Mohammed is true. Thank you. And thank you for watching. And I try really hard to pronounce your names respectfully and kindly. So help me out if there's a way for you to tell me. Let's do it, Michelle. Well, you're coming. You will probably be my first guest on my live, because that's my new thing. I think I'm going to invite guests to be here with me at least once a week, once every other week. I love all the hearts and love. I no longer know what I'm talking about, but that's all right. I'm just being real. This is what I do. So I hope you don't totally freak out when I come up close like that, but I do it so I can read the comments better. It freaks me out. Like, I'd rather be back here. So anyways, yeah, it's old lady stuff. My daughter told me you look like an old grandma when you come up close and you're reading the comments. And she said it with all the love in her heart. And so I'm taking her opinion and I'm trying to sit back a little bit further. But, you know, things like that, it's like, who cares? The whole point of this thing is in relationship, love yourself first. I just did a talk on that last week. Who cares what other people think? Honestly, they don't know you. They don't know who you really are. And if they want to judge your face or your comments or the way you look, the way you stand, then the hell with them. Honestly, they don't deserve to be in your life, and they don't value you for who you are. And we're not all meant to be the same. We're not supposed to be this cookie cutter, Stepford, generation of humanity. We are meant to be all the colors of Pendleton and all the colors of the rainbow. Dear God, why do we all want to be the same? We weren't invented or designed or created to be any of that. So get real about that and stop trying to be everybody else and just be you. Like, you're the best you that you're ever going to be in your life. No one can do you better than you. So other people telling you who you are and what you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to look are full of crap. See, this is what happens when I go live in the morning. I get a little bit more loose with my verbiage, okay? I try to be all respectful on this Facebook media thing because I am known for cursing. Sorry if it's offensive. I don't mean to be. It would be very boring if we were all the same. So I want you to today treasure yourself and treasure the people in your life that celebrate you, that make you feel good about who you are, don't put you down, don't reject you or criticize you or have a negative thing to say every time you're around them. I mean, do you have those Eeyores in your life? I got some Eeyores. You do, boo. I curse away. Eeyores that trump in my life and come in, oh my God, it's never going to get better. Or, yeah, I'm glad you're trying, but it's not really helping. People who just are a big downer, like, be sad and grieve, but don't live your life from a negative place of nothing's ever going to be right, because I guarantee you it never will. As long as you're looking at it from those glasses, those lack of rose-colored glasses and that perspective, then that's all you're going to see. You're never going to see the joy that is in your life, even when you're struggling and sad, even when you've lost a loved one that's dear to you, even when you're diagnosed with cancer. I saw so much beauty in my life when the door of death was right here, right next to my face, going, this is it, bro. What you gonna do about it? Instead of being angry and resentful and why me, which is a natural human condition and experience. Why me? I'm a health nut. I exercise. I do all this stuff to keep myself right and positive in my head and in my spirit. But so what? I'm human. So it came to me like it comes to everybody else, right? And in that moment, I saw the value in the people in my life. The people that were there, the people that showed up, and I treasured them. And I felt their love and I embraced it. Even people that I didn't like, people that I had never talked to, or people that I thought didn't like me very much, showed up. And in that moment, I could receive their love and I allowed myself to see them in a different way. Now it's crazy, but I look at everybody in that same way. Even people that hurt me, my immediate instinct, instead of to go into anger and resentment for them, is automatic forgiveness. Because I see their brokenness, I see their fragility, I see their humanity. That's the way we should all look at each other. Look at this crap that we're looking at right now on social media, on every media, on every news station. Look what's happening. Look how we destroy ourselves. Look how we wound and hurt ourselves. Look how lost we are. We are so lost in our humanity, and we're so judgmental with each other about it. People are dying senselessly and needlessly. I can't even say that word, senselessly. I don't think I want to say it again. And needlessly. And we're watching it. And there are things that we can do. There's some control and some containment that we could have to safeguard us as a country, as a nation, as a people. But we're fighting that. We're fighting that because we feel we have the right and we're entitled to do certain things. Freedom of speech, freedom to bear arms, freedom to fart. I don't know. That's a new one for me. I wished it upon myself. I said, I want to embrace my aging and my age enough that I could fart publicly and not care. And, it happened. I got to say, it happened. And I didn't care. But I don't want to get into this whole political thing. I'm saying it from my perspective as a therapist, as someone who works on themselves spiritually, and as someone who's watching and worked with people who have been impacted by suicide, by deaths, by violence. Your right to execute anything ends when that right infringes upon my right. That's where we're lost. Your right to bear arms or your right to free speech ends when you're using it to harm and endanger me or my children or my loved ones. That's the same for all of us. You have the right to do so many things for yourself with respect, guidance, and boundaries. Nothing should be a free-for-all. Nothing, whether that's a buffet, a banquet hall, and Michelle died because I always turn references into food, guns, anything, speech, media, anything. It should never be a free-for-all. Everything should be within limits and boundaries. We all live in the gray, not in the black and white. That's where we get lost. We are either all or nothing, good or bad, right or wrong. No, we're human, so we're all of those things. We're mixed up in the middle, a little good, a little bad, a little right, a little wrong, a little sour, a little spicy, a little salty, a little sweet. Hopefully that's most of us, but some of us are a little saltier than others, as you know. So I'm just saying that respect me and my right to be and live the ways I choose, and I respect yours. But when yours starts coming into mine and you're disrespecting my rights of freedom, my right to be healthy, my right to be safe in my own home, as in domestic violence or abuse, then you no longer have that right. You don't have the right to abuse me. You don't have the right to take your anger out on me. So a lot of this expression that we're seeing with this violence that's just increasing, and not just violence with guns, violence with our mouths, violence with how we talk to each other and look at each other and criticize each other. That's all coming from this place of not having boundaries and not being healthy within ourselves and taking our anger out on other people because we haven't got it right, okay? My husband's watching now. If you didn't know, hi boo-boo. I don't know where you're watching from because I'm in the house and I didn't hear you come in. Maybe you did come in. I heard the garage. So anyways, you can disagree or agree with me. Like, tell me, do you agree? Do you disagree? I love the thumbs up. Tell me. I told you I'm going to talk about forgiveness this Thursday, and I just went off on this tangent about the gun violence and the suicide, because I've had 4 suicides within a 20-mile radius of where I live in like 3 neighboring cities and my own city. Kids who are killing themselves because of their GPA, because they didn't get into the college that they wanted, because they felt the pressure of not being enough and not being perfect. Thank you, Leonie, you're welcome for my opening your eyes and for whatever, for enlightening you. So I'm all about that. I'm trying to enlighten myself. I'm trying to be a real person, living a real life, doing the right thing when I can, as much as I can, to the best of my ability, and I get it wrong all day long. So I want you to understand that being humans, it's our job to forgive each other, and to understand each other and to have compassion for each other. But we sadly get this wrong all day long. And those kids that committed suicide, let me get back to that, felt that they were not perfect and they were not good enough. We are getting it wrong when we're sending the message to our children that they have to be perfect, that they have to do everything right in life, that they can't make a mistake, that they can't fall down, that we're micromanaging them. They have a new term, helicoptering parents, because they hover over their children's every word, every deed, every action. Hi, Roseanne. How are you? So this is not good. Okay, and I'm just talking about parent to children, but friends to friends too. Maybe we helicopter each other. Maybe we expect each other to be perfect. There's kids killing themselves because they feel they're not enough and they're not good enough. We're not celebrating each other's gifts. We're criticizing them. If you're different than me, you're a different color, race, creed, religion, sexual orientation, whatever it is. We're busy telling each other how wrong that is instead of saying, it's not for me. I don't understand it. I'm not familiar with it, or I can't change it, but that's good for you. To get into some acceptance, you don't have to like what other people do or not do, but you can respect it instead of becoming violent, angry, and aggressive towards it. We don't have the right to take our anger out on other people. We can express it as an opinion, and we can share that. I differ in opinion. I don't understand this. I'm confused about your culture, the way you live your life, your religion. I'm confused about your traditions. That's all right. But when we start attacking each other, here, this is in our own society. These are children born and bred in the United States of America, and people born and bred here who are turning violence on themselves and on the people around them. This is happening here. We can't blame other people, other entities, other cultures, other things. These are people right here doing this. These are lost children growing up to be lost adults who are angry, who are hurt, who are confused, who have mental illnesses, who are acting out. Now, I did not start this live talking about this topic, and I went all the way off on it. But I guess it goes back to treasuring the people that you have in your life that you love and not discarding them. These are wounded people that were probably discarded, probably abused, or mentally ill that no one helped. No one offered a hand to, or no one stepped in to intervene to help them. So they were led and let alone to be run free in their psychotic minds to rain havoc on us, on each other, okay? When you see someone hurting and you have an opportunity to help them, help them. You think by helping them, you're wasting time or you're missing out on something else more important that you could be doing in your life? There's nothing more valuable than stopping right now where you're at and helping another human being. I am doing it right now, Sunday morning at 10:49 a.m. And I have kids and I have a husband out there and friends, and I've got this amazing weather in California. I could be out there having a good time. I know I'm going to stay well and right in my head if I humbly accept being a human being that offers experience, strength, and hope and helps other human beings. I am going to lose my authenticity and my identity when I just keep doing for me and my selfish, self-centered mindset. And those of you in recovery, addicts and alcoholics, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because these are the principles and the traditions, of the 12-step program that teaches you, right? Be of service to others. And that's how you're going to hang on to what you have and give away what you have, because it'll come back to you tenfold. So let go of the anger and resentment that you have towards family members. And if family members are not letting go of the anger and resentment they have towards you, then let them go too. It's okay to walk away from family that isn't loving you the way that family should. It's okay. You were divinely created for another purpose. And you don't have to stay just because they have the title family or the title of son, daughter, brother, sister, mother. It's a title. If they're not acting in integrity and love to honor that role that they're in your life, and they're not playing that role, like I have clients tell me all the time, I just wanted a dad. I got a father. I just wanted a mom, and I got a mother. That is so true. So think about the people in your life. I just wanted a friend, and I got a friendship. Whatever you want to title that, okay? Or I got an acquaintance. Think about it. Honor and love the people that love you, and it's okay to walk away from the ones who don't. And do your best to clean up your side of the street. When you're the one that's in the wrong, or you've been at fault, or you've hurt someone or wounded someone unintentionally or intentionally, go back and clean up your mess. Go back and make an amends. They may never forgive you, but you've got to keep your heart clean and clear so that you don't carry shame around the mistakes that you've made. We're all human and we all make mistakes. And I'm glad, Callie, that you think I'm right. So I guess that's a lot. I talked a lot more than I planned to. And Kelly tells me it's good to stay on longer. It gives more people an opportunity to jump on. So I'm glad about that. So, I guess I wanted to say in ending of friendship, I did mention my friend Michelle, who's watching, who I don't lately get to see often. What I want to say is, if you have one good friend in your life, you have enough. Don't feel like, if I don't have a ton of friends to hang out with and go with, or I have all these acquaintances, but no one who really knows me, you only need one. That's it. If you have more, that is icing on the cake. But if you have one friend that loves you truly for who you are blessed. It is enough. So look for, gravitate, hold on to that person. They can't be your everything. Michelle can't be my everything, although she's close. But she's a lot. And because I opened up to her, I trusted her, I showed her who I really was, and have been incredibly vulnerable with her, and she's done the same for me. So I know that I can always count on that. And I can go to her and she doesn't judge me for who I am, how I look, what I say, what I do, even when I curse like a truck driver. She actually thinks it's funny. So find those people in your life and love them and treasure them. I'm so glad you guys jumped on here with me today. I can't believe how chatty I got with you. If this is your first time, I'm on Thursdays, every Thursday on Ask Gina at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or West Coast time. So you East Coasters are 3 hours different, and everybody from all over the world, do the math. And also share it if you want to share it. If you got something out of this live and you think it could help a friend, share it. I would love that, so that I can reach more people and continue to grow on this and learn more about you, about myself. You can messenger me. I will not act as anybody's therapist. I am not seeking clients. I am not getting paid a dime. I'm just doing this. I'm trying to heal myself and help heal others. Thank you, Roseanne. I'm glad you watched. So that is my purpose and my intent, and that's it. And if it grows into something, that's God's will. God doing for me what I can't do for myself. If it grows into something and it's a career, great. But I'm a working girl. I've worked all my life. I've worked since I'm 16 years old. I worked through college. I paid for all my crap. I did the hard deal. I took the hard road in life. Nothing was handed to me. So this is for fun and for free for today. Okay. So thank you, Jackie, for wishing me a beautiful Sunday. Share it with other people. Ask Gina on Facebook, like my page, share it, comment, write things on there. What I really, really love, thank you, Leonie, is for you guys to send me messages about things you want me to talk about so I can give you more guidance and give you more things to understand, to look at, to work through, and hopefully guide you. If you need to get into counseling, that you will find a counselor in your area when the issues are deeper and more serious. But it's nice to just get advice from someone or to just be uplifted for a minute. I listen to all kinds of talk radio to help me to feel inspired and to keep my head right. So I encourage you to do that as well, okay? And I hope that you will. And I hope that you'll watch again this next Thursday. Send me what you want to talk about. What would you want to see more of? What would you be interested in? I already called out my friend Michelle to be a guest. I am ready to kind of bring guests on here with me too. I have some really fun, I think, and interesting people in my life that this would be really awesome to do with. So I'm challenging those of you who are watching that are my friends and off Facebook as well as on Facebook. And I'm coming after you, okay? Callie, I was struggling with the friend thing. I'm so glad, Callie, that you watched, and it was a God thing that you got to watch here with me today. So I'm sending you love, courage, strength, bravery, kindness, compassion, and hope that you take that into your heart and take it through your day today. Bye, you all. Love you. Lots of love right back to you. Take care. See you soon.